Well, we're going to move on to the press review then. The search continues for a missing tourist vessel off the coast of Cape Cod in the United States. That submersible, as it's called, has been exploring the wreckage of the Titanic when it lost contact a few hours into the expedition. It is dominating the papers, as you can imagine, today. Diptyque Laurent is here with more.
Well, Aaron, the British dailies are all over this story. It's on a lot of the front pages today, notably because one of those people on board that vessel is a British billionaire adventurer called Hamish Harding. So he and 4 other people were on board that vessel where search and rescue teams are trying to reach them before oxygen runs out. The luxury expedition costing about $250,000 per head. You have a similar headline there from the British tabloid The Sun, which also focuses on the billionaire, but also the French diver and the submarine boss who are also believed to be on board. Fears, of course, that the submarine could be trapped among the wreckage of the Titanic that it was observing could make rescue efforts all the more complicated, as The Sun notes. Now, you will note there on the Daily Mail that they do call it a submarine on their front page, and there's a really interesting article from Insider which explains that this vessel is actually a submersible, and there is a distinct difference between the two. This vessel, basically a submarine, can launch itself into the ocean from a port, for instance, independently. A submersible is launched from a support ship, much in the same way a scuba diver is deposited into the sea by a boat into an area of ocean to explore. So the submersible's location is all the more complicated for search and rescue teams because of the fact that it lost contact with its launch boat. So its exact location is still unknown, which complicates, of course, the search and rescue mission.
Glad you clarified that. I think I myself have been guilty of mislabeling that. Diptyque, well, that disappearance then is dominating some of the Italian dailies as well today, and they are also focusing on their far-right Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, who is meeting with Emmanuel Macron at the Élysée Palace today here in Paris.
That's right. That submersible is on the front of Corriere della Sera here with this picture. But you'll see in their headline, they are indeed talking about Giorgia Meloni's meeting with Emmanuel Macron, which, of course, it's her first visit her first diplomatic visit to France since becoming Prime Minister. It also follows months of tensions with France over the thorny question of migrants. Corriere della Sera today predicting a meeting that will tackle hard-hitting topics like immigration, Europe and Ukraine, but also Rome's candidacy for the 2030 World Expo. Another Italian daily, La Repubblica, meanwhile, notes it will be difficult to erase those past 7 months of tensions, confrontations, silence, and mutual accusations between the two countries.
Well, moving on now, French paper Libération today is focusing on artificial intelligence. Not a particularly new topic, of course, but it is one that continues to dominate headlines these days.
Well, Libération actually is going with a totally special edition dedicated to AI on its front page. And to that effect, they've actually invited French mathematician Cédric Villani to guest edit the paper. And you'll see they talk about a whole host of things about the impact of AI on work. But also they look at the Chinese city of Shenzhen, which is often described as China's Silicon Valley, which is also becoming a sort of hub for AI. And AI is also becoming a way for the communist government in China to monitor, to spy on its citizens. But we know that AI does have some benefits too. We've mentioned it numerous times on the press review. And to that effect, Quartz has a very interesting article about how users are flocking to the live streaming app Twitch for a chance to ask its star AI video chatbot dubbed AI Jesus. The bot actually embodies Jesus physically, you know, the blonde hair, blue eyes, the beard, and the algorithm even has him speaking in a sort of calm, godlike voice. It was created by a Berlin AI collective, and AI Jesus has answered tens of thousands of questions about inflation, the war in Ukraine, fixing computer glitches, but also for the more audacious users, offering some dating advice and even gaming tips. Impressively, the bot also has the capacity to remember and evoke past conversations in its responses.
All right, Diptyque, finally then we'll end on something a bit different. That's male protagonists in romance novels getting a bit of a makeover.
That's right. Well, when I say romance novels, you often think of the sort of tall, dark, handsome, tortured alpha male. You think of, Christian Grey from 50 Shades. It turns out, though, that writers now are ditching the tired tropes, at least according to this article from the Times of London, in favor of the so-called cinnamon roll, a sort of anti-alpha male who is sweet and mushy on the inside. You also have the golden retriever males who are kind of male bimbos, except they're not dumb, they're just not toxic males. Upon popular demand, publishers say readers increasingly want these kind of soft-hearted men who are approachable, the sort of the best friend who's been friend-zoned but who's now getting a leading role in romance novels. No doubt, though, thanks to a reflection of changing views on identity and toxic masculinity as well. Aaron.
Certainly does sound like a positive change to me. Dipti Laurent with the press review. Thank you very much.